Izmir, Turkey's third largest city after Ankara and Istanbul, is located on the Aegean Sea's eastern side. The third most populous city in Turkey is Izmir, which also acts as an export hub. The area is very seismically active, and on Halloween in 2020 this activity was visible. A magnitude 6.6 to 7.0 earthquake struck on October 30, 2020, around 10 kilometers off the shore of Seymour, a Greek island located south of Izmir. City workers at an advertising business crowd together in their workspace to keep the ground from giving way under them. The girl in green, who is risking everything to get to her phone, demonstrates her priorities. As the girl in green searches for something to grasp onto, we can see pendant lights in other parts of the workplace swaying down the hallway. Moments before a lamp drops from the ceiling, another man dashes to find cover under a desk. Other office workers scramble to hold on to something solid as wheelchairs and desks slide across the floor. A printer collapses on top of a woman, nearly knocking her out. There were 400 aftershocks after the primary earthquake, 43 of which were moderate tremors with a magnitude of 4.0. A 4.0 magnitude aftershock that occurred in the city center was also brought on by the original earthquake. The original earthquake also caused a tsunami that harmed a number of the province's coastal communities. One of Indonesia's 5 major islands is called Sulawesi. Indonesia controls more than 18,000 islands and islets, making it the biggest archipelago in the world. These islands are prone to earthquakes and tsunamis since the majority of them are located in a complex tectonic setting between the Australian, Pacific, Philippine, and Sunda plates. The Minahasa Peninsula, a small area of land that surrounds the Gulf of Tomini, was shaken on September 28, 2018 by an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.5. The earthquake produced 150 aftershocks, many 1.5-meter tsunami waves that crashed on the coast, and then a huge 5.5-meter wave that covered the entire island. A small group of people appear to be getting ready for a performance as the earthquake strikes. As the mob disperses in all directions, the TV camera trembles. People physically fling themselves onto tables as loose objects fall from the roof, and chaos reigns. We can see the floor tiles buckling and breaking as the water inundates the perimeter. As the earthquake strikes, nearby security cameras at the port nearly come loose from their posts. They endured long enough to capture footage of a loading crane falling over and colliding with the road. An onboard camera captured footage of the Kotapalo earthquake close to the coast. One man wonders if it's safe to get in his car and go as trees sway back and forth. People flee for cover and water flows over the embankment. According to Vox, the earthquake left behind a humanitarian calamity and thousands of destroyed buildings. Sichuan, a province in western China, contains the prefecture of Yan. It is especially susceptible to monsoons, floods, and landslides because it is located immediately below the Tibetan Plateau. That doesn't mean it's immune to other natural disasters either. A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck Yan on June 1, 2022. The immediate emotions of everyone were caught on tape by numerous closed-circuit television cameras that were mounted nearby. Luzhan High School, where students were practicing earthquake exercises, provided some of the most illuminating videos. A terrified mother is compelled by the earthquake to grab her son and flee towards the door, but she hesitates for fear that something might fall in front of it. A sleeping dog in another location wakes up after being disturbed by the earthquake. Students at Lucian High School immediately hide behind their desks when they hear distant sirens. Their teacher gives the go-ahead for everyone to exit the room after it is determined that it is safe. About 9 seconds prior to the earthquake, a warning was sent to 10 million residents in the immediate area. The second class's students may have overheard this over the intercom as they simultaneously dove under their desks. Nepal's capital and principal commercial center is Kathmandu. But on April 25, 2015, a strong 7.8 magnitude earthquake shut down all corporate operations. The nation had not experienced a natural tragedy of that magnitude in almost a century. Making matters worse, the tremor caused the deadliest day in Everest history when an avalanche on the mountain killed 22 people. Numerous communities collapsed, displacing thousands of people all around the nation. Closed-circuit television cameras in the town of Tripurshore caught the earthquake's first seconds. A crowded crossroads was being navigated by scooters, cars, and pedestrians. Although it's difficult to imagine, Nepalese villagers are used to driving this way. Following that, the ground begins to tremble and people start to flee. To avoid driving too close to the tall structures, cars suddenly come to a stop, and people assemble in the street. When the earthquake stops, nobody gets up. They are conscious of the possibility of an aftershock at any time. The level of destruction that day is not accurately captured in this clip. 600,000 buildings throughout the rest of Nepal were destroyed or severely damaged. The death toll was 9,000, but if the earthquake had happened at another time, it might have been far higher. When the earthquake occurred, many individuals were working outside, away from tall buildings and other falling debris. The Philippines' Northern Clark International Airport handles both domestic and international travel. Its beginnings may be traced to 1919, when the American military turned the region into an airfield. During World War II, this airstrip was a vital foreign base. Early in the 1990s, the Philippine government seized charge, and 23 years later, on April 22, 2019, the Clark International Airport finally opened its doors. An earthquake of a magnitude of 6.1 jolted Clark International Airport and everyone inside. Some passengers were stuck as ceiling debris started to fall as travelers gathered their loved ones and dispersed for safety. As the earthquake rocketed everything inside, including our CCTV cameras, the terminal filled with tense travelers plunged into mayhem. After going past security, a man becomes caught on a ramp, taking the majority of the line with him. Another security squad is seen running for shelter in a panic. Ceiling lights and debris fall, just missing 2 women. People hide their heads and pray for the best in the check-in area. A few men at the end of the line just manage to flee before the roof caves in on them. The video from the check-in and departure areas makes it very evident that Clark International Airport was recently affected by a powerful earthquake. Japan's third most populated city, Osaka, is situated on the island of Onsu along the shores of Osaka Bay. The city is one of the most multicultural in East Asia and is significant to the Japanese economy. The Osaka Stock Exchange, one of Japan's 4 principal exchanges, is also located there. All of these businessmen visit one of Osaka's many cat cafes when they need a break or a place to unwind. They can spend roughly 200 yen for 10 minutes there to relax, have a snack, and spend time with cats. The cat cafes were everything but calm on June 18, 2018, when a magnitude 6.1 earthquake jolted the city. The cats can be seen trying their best to climb down as they realize something is wrong. Then the building is struck by an earthquake, sending all the cats running. They all seem to relax once the ground stops trembling. They revert to being the cuddly, lazy cats they once were. These kitties were obviously aware of what was about to occur. What does science have to say, though, about creatures that can forecast earthquakes? The majority of the evidence is anecdotal, which means we can't be positive. But there are enough people who claim to have seen it, according to the United States Geological Survey. As demonstrated in this video, they are able to sense it before we do. A main P wave and a second, stronger S wave are both released during an earthquake. Animals can actually sense the P wave, but humans cannot. Anchorage is the most populated city in Alaska with just under 300,000. With a population of almost 40% and a greater area than Rhode Island, it serves as the state capital. Even though an earthquake of magnitude 7 or higher happens every 1 to 2 years, you might not think of earthquakes while visualizing Alaska at first. Around 8:30 a.m. on Friday, November 30th, 2018, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit northern Anchorage. Palmer, Alaska's National Tsunami Warning Center, conveniently situated within the earthquake zone, sent alerts to the surrounding coastal regions. The incident was also caught on closed-circuit television at the Alaska Children's Academy preschool. As items fall off the shelves due to the earthquake, a camera placed in a little individual classroom trembles. The CCTV cameras shook so badly because, according to personnel, they were installed firmly. Fortunately, Fridays are always a closed day for school. In another portion of the school, we can observe that the main learning space was shaken by the earthquake, despite the chairs being seated at their desks. According to reports, 117 people experienced minor wounds, ranging from scrapes and bruises to fractured bones. While our daycare facility held up well, other schools in Mackenzie Point, which were closer to the core, sustained significant damage. The earthquake cost the city a total of around $30 million in damage. A 6.6 magnitude earthquake devastated the Chinese region of Sichuan on September 5, 2022. It mostly hit Luding County, a region with about 86,000 people. The earthquake that shook Luding County occurred as a couple was on their way home. As the ground rocked around their automobile, the dashboard camera captured the entire event. When the earthquake hits, our driver hits the brakes hard. The town almost appears to be being destroyed by a tornado due to the way the trees are swaying back and forth. A man is seen scurrying across the road to save his life as the awnings transform into dust clouds. Our driver thinks about coming to a stop, but he understands that in the middle of the street, away from falling debris, they are safer. 21 million people in Chengdu felt the earthquake, according to Reuters. However, Luding County sustained the majority of the damage. In addition to some landslides, the earthquake also destroyed a number of nearby residences and roadways. Locals in Luding claim that the quake was so powerful that it was difficult for them to remain upright. We are inclined to believe them based on the video evidence captured by the cameras. The majority of wave pools employ water displacement to direct rippling waves at giddy swimmers, similar to how landslides and earthquakes caused tsunamis. But following the 2015 earthquake, this pool outside a hotel in Nepal wasn't designed to create waves at all, let alone waves this large. When the earthquake struck, security cameras were recording. We apologize ahead of time for the choppy video. A tranquil day by the pool rapidly devolves into complete mayhem. As the earthquake strikes, the security camera begins to quake like a young child shaking a wrapped Christmas present. Waves are produced when water splashes against the pool's walls. With each shock, the waves increase but eventually stop as the earthquake stops. Thankfully, nobody chose April 25, 2015, as a good day to go swimming. At the very least, no one was checking into this hotel.